Oh, what Pace said?
Pace's pacing last night.
Oh, dude, yes. I was so mad at him. I was like, dude, this shit again, dude. What?
It's the best, bro. But that's what Pace does, right? Like he mixes things up. He hold on. This thing is
Oh, dude, yes.
hold
I was
on.
so mad at him. I was like, dude, this
Hold
shit
on.
again, dude. Oh, that's YouTube. That's I hear my own voice.
There we go. I found the tab. That's what happens when you Munif, are you a have a bunch of tabs open type dude, or are you I close every tab after I use it?
I am ashamed of the amount of tabs I'll have open at one.
It's really bad, right?
I feel you.
Yeah. And it drives me crazy because when Yvonne does stuff, like when I'm doing something, if I'm researching something or look it up, I have to open it in a new tab so I don't miss what I'm doing. And Yvonne just clicks the tab like a savage. And I'm like, why are you just clicking? You don't click. You open it in the new. What are you doing? She's like, why do I need all these tabs open? So we're a polar opposite in tab usage.
So funny. You know, I get anxiety. I have so many tabs and I'm like, wait a minute, if they were really important, I wouldn't have 30 tabs open for 2 weeks. So
that's true.
Exit Chrome and just lose everything I had.
Yeah, it's funny because so there's I don't know if you know about this, there's an extension that allows you to save all of your active tabs and then you can close everything out and it'll just reopen your session. So to like remove
I think that's like giving a kid a gun. Like that's how I feel. If I started using that, I would abuse it.
So what I do is I have all these things and it's like 80 tabs, 130 tabs. I have all these things. I don't think I've ever clicked into any of them ever.
Yeah. It just makes you feel okay to close them. Like, okay, if I could, if I needed it.
Yeah.
But the truth is there's also something called history. So you can always go to your history and get stuff that you're like, okay, well, on this day I was looking at, and so it's on your history. So, you know, unless you're on incognito for reasons we don't need to get into.
We don't need to talk about that now.
No, we don't need to talk about
that. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not alone here. I don't understand how Yvonne just so willy-nilly clicks links in the same tab like that.
She's just going through life, like she just goes through it, you know. She goes through life
unconcerned, unbothered.
No umbrella in the rain, no seatbelts when she drives.
No,
no new tabs when she researches.
That's the best. I'm glad I'm not alone. You guys made me feel validated today, and I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm posting this thing for anybody who wants to join. So, okay, Munif, if you're ready to go, you guys still have the links. I'm gonna convert this thing real quickly. Babe, are you by your computer? Yeah. Because I wanted to convert that doc into a Google. I can do it. I just got to find it.
I can start dialing if you want. I just don't remember stuff.
Yeah, we can just start and then I'll convert it to a drive so we can at least save the notes in a uniform place. And
do you remember where we left off?
Clive, I think, was the last one that we ended with.
Oh, Clive, poor guy. Yeah, we couldn't help him. I looked into it.
Oh, what happened with that? Anything?
No, it's just too tight. Like he just owes way too much. Yeah. Even if you would give him $5,000 to walk away, like it just doesn't work. Yeah.
So they go to auction?
It's gonna go to auction. Well, no, he got an offer with him getting no money, and it was like a local guy. I was like, just take that. Like we can't help you.
Yeah.
We don't want to commit to something and then not be able to help him and then like screw him. So I'm like, if there's a local guy that like saw the house, I just told him to take it because it could at least save his credit if the guy actually closes. So it was the best for him. I didn't want to like get it under contract and then not be able to dispose it and screw him.
Yeah.
That's no, absolutely. That was good advice.
Okay. David. Okay, cool. I see. Oh crap.
Listening to all the trash talking last night really, you know how it is, right? When you're just a naturally competitive person, I'm a very competitive person. And so hearing that stuff from me, I'm not a big, I guess I'm not gonna say I'm not a trash talker. I'm probably not the biggest trash talker, but I'm very competitive. So hearing all of the stuff going back and forth last night made me kind of wish I was competing.
You are through us. You are through us.
Dude. Vicariously through you guys.
Is this
you win if we win. You know what I mean?
I love it.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how I see it. Like, whatever happens to me, as long as me or Jen wins, we won. So like,
Yep.
it would just be super nice to like have that win for us. Like, it is just, yeah, it definitely lit something in me. It definitely lit a fire in me. I'm just like, okay, screw this. Okay, let's win this
I
thing.
love it. I love it.
For some reason, it's not letting me search Clive's name. I think I'm going to open this again in Excel.
What were you saying, Jen?
Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay.
Did they skip the Closer Olympics last year, or did they have it and I just missed it?
They skipped it.
They did skip it. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start dialing. I'm going to meet you guys.
All right. He's meeting us out. Let's see.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Munif. How are you, man?
This is you?
This is Munif. I'm calling about your property on 1326 Felipe.
Okay.
Is that something you're still looking to sell, or is selling off the table for you?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure right now.
Oh, yeah? What changed?
Yeah, we're just not sure if we're gonna sell it or not.
Oh, okay. So it's something that you're not sure if you're going to sell.
Yep.
Something probably changed, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. I'll take you off my list right now. Is there a time I should check in with you in case you change your mind again?
No, but I mean, if we list it, we'll list it.
Alrighty, appreciate it. Thanks, Dave.
All
All
right.
right, bye-bye. Sure.
Your call has been. Your call has been for.
All right, so Munif's muted out. We're gonna get more people that are gonna be hopping in here shortly. I just made a post about it, at least for the YouTube. I'm not sure if we've made a post about the Zoom here recently, but if you guys have not seen this, essentially we're getting prepped today. Jen's gonna be trying out this week. Jen, what day do you try out?
Thursday.
Let's
This
go.
Thursday at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern.
So
I
what
thought I
are
could
you
dial the
doing?
next one while I was
Are you-
on a call with this
Are you
person.
doing anything
You actually
else?
can't do that.
Oh, so he's like multi-dialing. Are you doing anything else to get prepped outside of like these call sessions that we're doing?
This week I am trying to get as many role plays in as possible. So I'm going to reach out to my battle buddy. She said that she would, Carolina, she said she'd role play with me. And, I role played with Ty
Hello?
this morning.
Hi, is this Mr. Moore?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Mr. Moore, this is Munif. How are you doing today?
Who is this?
This is Munif Saza. I'm calling about your property on 1375 Eloise Road.
Eloise Road.
Oh, Eloise Road, yes.
Yeah.
Is that,
Well,
is that property? Go
I
ahead.
appreciate you calling me back, but it's sold.
Oh, you already sold it.
Oh, sold it and closed. I sold that 2 months ago.
Congratulations,
3 months
Mr.
ago.
Moore.
3 months ago.
That's excellent. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have any other properties you would consider selling?
Well, I do have, but I'm not going to sell them this year. I'm
All
going
right.
to sell them in 24.
All right. Just for the
And,
taxes, huh?
I've got, you can check out 404 North Manassas and 519 Leaf, Leath.
519 Leath Leaf.
38105, I think.
They're both in Memphis.
Yeah, both of them 38105.
And I'm
They're just a block apart.
I'm assuming you want to sell them next year because of the taxes.
That's right. Uh-huh.
All righty. I've got a question before I get off the phone here. Has anyone talked to you about seller finance and how you can pay less in capital gains tax?
Well, yeah, I sold and financed that one down there on Manassas.
All righty. Well, would you consider selling, Leaf on seller finance, and that way you don't have to pay capital gains and you get the benefits of selling today?
Yeah, well, you do have to pay capital gain too. Yeah, you do.
So, well,
yeah, you do.
But if you have
it's not as bad.
Yeah, it's spread out over 30 years.
That's right. It's spread out over the years.
And
that's right.
Yeah, and then you can actually take other deductions. If you have a good CPA, you can actually take other deductions to make that net zero.
Yeah, well, that's debatable. That's debatable. Okay.
Yeah, it definitely is. My CPA does it for me.
It's debatable, brother.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll sell it probably either way. But I'm not going to sell it in this year.
Already. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. But that would be.
I'm going to sell it in 24. Okay.
All righty. So I'll reach out to you in 24 about Leaf in Manassas.
Yes, you'll have to call me about late November or early December. Okay.
All righty. I'll put that in my calendar right now to call you.
We can have a closing on it in January. Okay.
That works for me. All righty. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Am I getting points for creative?
100% going to get.
That's actually two properties you could probably buy and sell or finance and wrap. They're both in Memphis, which is like a great market.
Love that. That's awesome. Jen, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, you're listening. He can't hear us because he's muted out. But you got any quick thoughts or feedback on that?
Well, only because I experienced this last week quite a few times, was asking that question, well, what's going to happen between now and then to change your mind or to get you to decide to move things forward? So honing in on what that really is.
Yeah, and I think when you're dealing with elderly people, it's not uncommon that they are hard-headed, right? Or they're set in their ways, or they're very, very established in their opinions on things. And when you're talking about something like creative finance, which is a nuanced discussion because there are different ways to go about it, two people can be right. And so when we've got a little combative with the guy, and I think that maybe taking a little bit of a different approach may not have changed his mind, but either A, could have opened up the conversation a little bit more clearly, or at least let that not sound as combative as it sounded. Because whether or not that impacted, because I don't think it impacted the conversation. I don't think it changed this guy's mind one way or the other.
Hi, Kenneth.
Yes.
Hey, this is Munif. How are you today?
Who is this?
This is Munif. I'm calling about your property on North 96th Street in Scottsdale.
Yeah, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Virginia.
Yeah, I know. What is this an investment company?
It sure is. Is that property still for sale, or did you take that off the table?
It's still for sale if you have an offer you're ready with.
I would love to make an offer. Do you have a few minutes to chat with me?
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes is all you have?
Yep, I'm driving right now.
Okay. Would it be helpful if I called you back later?
No, this is fine.
Alrighty, I'm pulling it up right now. 13870 North 96th Street in Scottsdale. Let me pull it up. I see that it's not listed on the market already. Mr. Kenneth, what's got you interested in selling this?
Are you interested in making an offer or not?
I sure am, yes.
Well, then let's go ahead and proceed with that.
Okay, yeah. Typically, when I make an offer, it's very specific to what a seller needs. For example, some sellers need to sell in 2 weeks or less, and I need to know those things before I can actually present an offer to you.
I'll sell it whenever you're ready.
Okay. Is there anything about the property I should know about?
It's got a brand new roof this year. All the kitchen appliances have been replaced. It's going to be repainted, and it's in excellent condition.
Okay. That's excellent. That helps a lot. Most people who have properties in excellent condition typically list on the market with a real estate agent. Have you explored that option?
Okay, if you're wanting to make an offer. You keep asking me questions that don't mean anything.
Okay. What did you want to sell the house for?
$575.
I see. Okay. Have you talked to a real estate agent to list this for you at that price? Because that's a retail.
Do you want to make an offer?
I'm not your buyer at 575.
Okay, thank you.
Well, before I get off the phone with you, will you take payments on the property?
What does that mean?
That means is if I come up to your price, will you give me the terms I need to buy this?
I will not finance it for you.
Oh, you will not finance it. You will not sell or finance this.
No, you come with cash.
Okay, so you're looking for a cash offer above Zillow, above Redfin.
Or you could go borrow the money from a bank. I don't care.
Okay, alrighty. Awesome. I recommend, sir, you list this property to get top dollar for this.
So you don't want to make an offer.
I'm not your buyer at 575, unfortunately.
Oh, all right, thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. In my opinion, somebody who wants above Zillow cash, they just don't want to sell. 16.
Very interesting situation there. I think that when you're dealing with stuff like this, Jen, are you with me by chance?
I am.
Oh,
Hi, Mr. Kim.
yes.
Hey, this is Munif. How are you?
Oh, who?
This is Munif. I'm calling your property about Northwest Greenwood Drive in Portland.
Yes, yes.
Is that one still for sale or is selling
No.
off the table?
No, that's not.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You're not looking to
Thank you
sell
for
that one?
calling.
All righty.
No.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, perfect. This is still working. I'm fixing the scoring sheet, Jen, so that way we have the scoring sheet for you guys.
Okay.
Hello, you've reached Brenda. I'm not.
Did you want to you were going to ask me something about that
Yeah,
last
yeah.
call.
So yeah,
red guy.
what are your thoughts on these? I'm interested in hearing your feedback on this. I'm noticing some stuff. Just wanted to hear where you're coming from as well.
Yeah, well, he's
Hello?
Hi, Brenda.
Yes,
Hey, this is Munif. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Who is this?
This is Munif. I'm calling about your property on Addington Street to see if it's
Yes.
something you.
It's not for sale. Put me on your do not call list,
Oh,
please.
I'll take you off my list. Thank you. I'm assuming
Thank
something
you.
changed. Alrighty. Don't call Brenda again.
so yeah, the red seller, not sure if it's a man or a woman. Obviously no BS kind of seller.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless.
Numbers
So-
wrong for Miss Lupe.
Just cut into the price because that's what that seller wanted to talk about. And maybe that would have shortened or lengthened their fuse.
Yeah. One thing that I say a lot when it comes down to calls like this, and I think would really, really be helpful. So I'm noticing that Munif, one of the things that I think Munif is going to have to figure a workaround for is Munif's elevated his business a lot from when he was first doing this business a couple of years ago for the last Closers Olympics. He was heavy on the phone calling sellers. He's elevated to kind of a more
Your
of a
call
position
has
of
been
authority.
forwarded to an
Authority in his business, and so he doesn't have to be involved in the nitty gritty. He doesn't really have to negotiate that much. He's coming in at the very last guy. He's the underwriter. He's the guy that's getting all the things done, and so he's got a habit of being in the position of yes or no, being really cut and dry, and he's allowed to do that because that's where the conversation's at. The cut and dry thing isn't going to work as well, I don't think, in these earlier on conversations. And so I think that's going to be probably the biggest hurdle internally he's going to have to overcome, because
Your
even though
call
I know
has-
it's not his intent, I believe that the sound will come across to the judges that he's being combative. And that's just going to impact the points when it comes to, I think, how they hear the calls, how they gauge the rapport. I think that for me, when you're dealing with red sellers, there's two things that you can do that really help you.
Hello,
One,
Dr. Peralta. Can I help you?
Hi, this is Philip.
This is Philip. Yes.
Hey, Philip, this is Munif. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm great. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No. Well, actually, I'm just getting prepared to leave to head out of my room. So, can I call you back or?
Yeah, I would just really quickly wanted to know if you were still interested in selling your property on 1410 Southwest in Portland, or is that off the table?
No, we're still potentially interested in that. So, but we're breaking even on it. We're not in any hurry, but if there's a strong interest and it's a reasonable offer, we would consider it.
Sure. When you say breaking even, how do you mean by that?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm running late for a meeting, so I really do have to go. But let me give you a call at the latter part of this week, and we can talk a little bit more about that. Okay?
Sure. Yeah. All right. I see it's not listed, so I'm going to do a little
No,
bit of
it's not.
research. Okay. So I'll
Yeah.
speak to you later this week.
Okay.
All righty.
Sounds good. Thanks so much for the call.
Okay. Thank you so much, Phil. Bye-bye.
really, really nice guy.
So nice. I
Um,
was
yeah, guys like that are really nice. Sometimes when they're super nice, though, that doesn't mean that they're going to be pushovers. I think a lot of people
no,
think that.
definitely not. Yeah, it's like a wolves in sheep's clothing.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hi, Lilia.
Yes.
Am I saying your name right, or is it Lila?
Okay. Do you need a service?
No, I was asking if your property on Sweet Gum Drive is still something you want to sell.
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
sorry, it's not for sale.
All right, not for sale. Okay, thank you so much.
¿Qué pasó?
¿Qué pasó? ¿Por qué no lo quiere vender, mami? I would have laughed if he went all the way Bad Bunny on that call. So no, one of the things that I was saying beforehand is that I think there's two things you can do when you're dealing with red sellers. And I think the obvious one is you get straight to the point. Obviously, Munif was going down the kind of
Oh.
more.
Hey, Paul.
Munif's
Yeah.
getting good calls
Hey,
today.
this is Munif. How are you today?
Oh, fine, you said?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. The reason I called you is I wanted to know if 1416 Caruth Drive is still something you wanted to sell, or if selling is off the table now.
It's off the table now.
Oh, okay. All right. What I'll do is I'll take you off of our list. I'll go ahead and remove your name.
Okay,
I'm guessing something changed.
okay, brother.
All righty. Talk to you
Okay.
later. Thank you.
Bye.
That was good getting in that comment, making that very clear. I think maybe if there weren't a language barrier, it would have gone somewhere from there.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the things you can do so this goes to the point that I'm trying to make. He's getting a lot of great calls, so obviously we'll let him take them. Is I think qualifying what you're about to do can help a lot.
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, is this Elizabeth?
Yes, you speak Spanish?
No. Do you habla inglés?
Dile que tú quieres. Hello,
Hi, this is Munif. How are you?
good, and you?
I'm good. Are you Elizabeth's daughter or son?
Yeah, I'm her daughter.
Okay, you're her daughter. Okay. Can you ask her if she still wants to sell 1421 Davis Avenue, or if she changed her mind about that?
Que si todavía quieres vender esa casa. Si me dan lo que yo quiero. She said if like you give her like what she wants, then yeah,
What does
like
she?
the money.
Yeah, sure. What does she want for the house?
¿Cuánto quieres? 165. No puedo decir eso. 165. She would like $165,000.
Oh, $165,000. Okay. Do you guys live there right now?
Excuse me?
Do you guys live in the house?
Yeah, we live in the house.
Okay. Have you talked to a real estate agent to list the house for you?
Más casa hablado con una persona de real estate. Sí, ¿cómo se llama? Pero ni uno me ha querido dar. Y simplemente la hablé porque si no, no. Yeah, she talks to like a lot of them, but like she rejected them because they haven't given her like the $165,000 she wants from the house.
Oh, I see. Okay. So she doesn't want to list it unless the agent can make sure she gets 165,000.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, no problem. That's a little bit too high for us, so we'll call back later if anything changes, okay?
Okay, yeah.
All
Bye.
right. Thank you. Bye-bye. That's like not motivated.
Yeah. So the daughter didn't translate agent, so she said real estate person. So what we were able to establish, if you guys understand Spanish, is that the mom.
Oh, Daniel's like reading the Spanish. She didn't specify agent to her mom. No, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. If I have a Spanish lead, it's game over on that one. I just lose those. I don't speak Spanish.
Munif's gonna just convert one day, and he's gonna go full Latino.
I'm not gonna have a translator for the competition. So any Spanish lead I get, it's gonna go in the toilet.
I wonder what they're doing with Spanish
For me,
leads,
at
right? Like,
least.
let's say
Someone else can probably make it make sense.
Munif's muted, just so everybody knows. Munif has us muted. He can't hear us talking. So if you're wondering why we're talking over each other, he can't hear us commentating in the background. But yeah, I wonder what they're going to do if there's a bilingual lead and somebody happens to speak that language. It's going to be difficult for the judges to score it. So I guess it's probably maybe not worth taking the call.
None of them speak Spanish?
I mean, you speak Spanish.
Thank you so much.
I speak Spanish, but not enough to
I love
judge.
you.
Ah, okay.
I
Please
speak
leave your
enough to
message for
make someone laugh and build some rapport, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
you can build rapport points.
yeah, exactly. All right, he's got 7 minutes left. He's gotten a lot of really good calls. And when I say really good calls, I mean he's gotten a lot of answers. He's gotten a lot of connects. So it's going to be interesting to see how your round goes. I think he's done a good.
your
good
call has been forwarded to an auto.
connecting with them. What are you thinking so far, Jen? Based on what you've heard up to this point, if you're a judge, this is the live competition. How do you think Munif is being scored on what he's done up to this point?
Let's see. Well, I think maybe there could have been some of the calls could have gone a little bit deeper. Maybe there could have been some more exploration.
Hi, this is Vicente.
Yes.
Hey, this is Manif. How are you today?
Good.
Hey, the reason I'm calling you is I wanted to know if the property on Eldridge Parkway is still something you want to sell.
No.
Okay, so I'll take you off of our list. Thank you.
But he's gotten good connects. So step in the right direction for sure.
Please leave your message for Please leave your message for
All right, so Monif has, let's see what we got on the time clock. Monif has 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. Let's pull this up here. You guys can kind of see that. He's worked his way through 30 minutes. If this was a live round of the Closers Olympics, I think he has something to be proud of. I think he could be excited about the fact that he got this many calls. If I think anybody gets this many calls in during a live round of the Closers Olympics, they're doing really well. They have the opportunity to rack up a lot of points. But then again, you don't just get points for getting answers. You get points for maximizing the conversations that you're having. So I guess we'll see how this fares. Obviously, Jen, you've been listening. You and I will be scoring Mooney for this round. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how he fares with the amount of conversations that he's had.
Yeah, so many calls. This is take note of this. What's today? Tuesday? Maybe because yes, coming off a 3-day weekend, people are back at it or something. Like,
yeah,
so many pickups.
Yes, there's quite a few. Sorry, guys, I'm reading the chat a little bit too. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how he fares here. We were talking to you a little bit earlier, Jen. You were talking about role plays. If there's anything I can do to help with some of the role plays, I'd be happy to do that too. I think role plays are really helpful for stuff like this because it allows you to hone in on the areas you really, really want to practice. You have whoever it is that you're role playing with, make sure they play out whatever scenario you struggle with most so you can kind of just get the reps in. A lot of this, guys, like when you're dealing with sales, some of it's information.
Please leave your message for.
But a lot of it's muscle memory, right? As human beings, we have in our brains this developed pattern of communication, this pattern of speech that we use, and we just do it automatically. It's an unconscious thing that we do. Sales.
Please leave your message for.
Is the ability to alter those speech patterns to be able to match or mimic the person that you're speaking with to maximize the capacity of the conversation you're having. But that's hard if you don't have the habit of doing it. Switching up what you normally do and the way you normally communicate can be very difficult if you don't have the practice. So that's why things like role playing can become really, really helpful because it allows you to just get a new muscle memory ingrained.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check.
So you can react differently when you're having those conversations. So anyways, Jen, to that point, if you need any help with that and I can make the time, I'm happy to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will take you up on that.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I mean, obviously you got hyped up a lot last night.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so did that, I know we were talking a little bit beforehand. Did that make you more nervous? Did it make you more motivated? Like, what did that do to you hearing all of that?
Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know. It did make me more, I don't know. I don't know if it was good to listen or not, but regardless, I listened. So I guess it's kind of good because it made me erase my little dry erase board in my bathroom. You know, I brush my teeth, I say my things, and now it has a lot of F-bombs on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a cursor. I don't cuss, but it was like, I got to change my energy.
I like it. You got to come with the animal energy. Well, here's the thing, right? I think really when you're doing stuff like this, it's just really a matter of channeling who you really are, but then just kind of turning up the notch.
Memory is full. Enter the remote access code.
And
yeah, a lot of it is like that mindset. Well, because I'm reading, you know, we were just talking about like, you know, the can't hurt me. So it's more like the behind the scenes, like your mindset, not necessarily like my
Users
outward
busy on that one.
self.
Some of these phone
Yeah.
numbers are.
He's got
unfortunately,
37
out of
seconds
service.
left. I'm not sure if he can see that, or if he's watching the shared screen, but he's got 30 seconds left. Yeah, one thing that I think you guys will have, I don't know what everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
Obviously,
Peggy's is
right?
out. of
But I
service.
don't know
I should
that a
probably
lot of
bring
the.
them down. They're out of service.
All right, let's go ahead and let him know that he's got.
I feel like we're doing like golf commentary.
Yeah, we're doing it with like a weird whisper.
Yeah, exactly.
He pulls back for a swing. I know nothing about golf or golf commentary, so
I don't either.
it was funny
The
when I was out with
inflection.
Pace. When I was out with Pace and Ryan. Hopefully, it doesn't
Hello,
waste-
you have reached 832.
All right, I'm out of time, right? Cool.
Okay,
All right, I
he's
can
up.
hear you guys.
He's up.
Cool.
Munif, what's going on, man? How are you feeling?
I actually feel really good.
Yeah, you got a lot of good connects there, man. That was a
Mhm.
lot of connects.
Absolutely.
All right. So what we're going to do, guys, I'm going to share my screen again. I have a form that I actually use for my other competitions, you know, and I put the criteria for the Closers Olympics into this form. So we're just going to kind of go through. I'm going to let Jen go first, give her feedback because she's going to be, she was listening into this call. I'm going to also copy and paste the scoring criteria into the chat. If you guys are listening and you kind of want to play along and give your opinion on what the scoring is, you're welcome to do that and give your score in the chat. The scores for each of the competitors is going to be out of 40. So obviously that's what they're going to be graded on per judge. So if you guys, let me go ahead and copy these into each of the chats if you guys want to kind of play along and put your feedback in. And it's out of 5. So you guys can, let's put this here in YouTube. What's going on, everybody in YouTube?
What's up, YouTube? Costco has these dumplings. They're really good. They're back.
Costco actually has some really good, I don't really eat like that anymore, but Costco has some good stuff.
Yes, they
What do you
do.
mean
I
by
love Costco.
I don't really eat like that anymore. What does that mean?
I'm like pretty much, I'm
As
pretty
he's
much
chewing, you're making
full-
him feel bad.
look at
I
his
saw his
face.
expression change. He was happy about his
His whole
dumpling.
demeanor
He burst
switched
his
up.
bubble.
I mean, gluten. You don't do gluten.
No, I'm mostly carnivore, man. Almost completely carnivore.
That's cool.
Yeah, the most thing, like I'll have the occasional what's going on, Jade? I'll have the occasional vegetable, right? Like I'll have like maybe some tomatoes or some peppers like with breakfast. Or avocado, which I guess isn't a vegetable. We have that's like my little cheat food is we have these almond flour tortillas that we eat, which are
Oh
really
yeah, the
good.
siete
They don't have
ones.
anything.
Those are
Yeah,
good.
yeah, the siete ones, those are the same ones.
Mhm.
So I'll have those, like Ivana put them in an air fryer, and they're basically chips.
Ooh.
So I'll have that with some
Those are
salsa. So that's about my biggest cheat meal, and then I'll have chicken wings, like air fried organic chicken wings, with some butter. That goes hard. I like that. But those are my cheat meals, and for the most part, bone broth and steaks and meat and what have you. That's the go-to. I
That
feel a
is-
lot better too.
So not even the low carb vegetables like cucumbers, celery. Is there a reason why you're not doing those? Like
It's
the
just honestly because it's just the thing that we have a habit of getting, like when we do our Costco
okay.
orders, because I order all of our stuff, right? So I go to the buy it
Yeah.
again, and just the peppers and the tomatoes is always in the thing. We put them in the air fryer.
Yeah.
It's just like they're tasty, even though tomatoes are a nightshade, and I probably shouldn't be eating them, but old habits, I guess.
You put the vegetables in an air fryer?
Yes, sir.
Oh wow, that sounds good. I haven't tried that.
It's a way of roasting them. It's actually
Ooh.
not bad at all. All
Ooh,
right,
I'm
so
gonna
the
try that.
scoring sheet's pulling up. You guys are going to see the scoring sheet that we have here. We will go ahead and kind of go through it. Jen, I will let you go first. Obviously, can you see the sheet where it says rapport, negotiations, all the things?
Yes, I can.
All right, so you can just use that as your guide. Kind of give me your thoughts and your feedback on his calls.
Okay. Rapport, I will say 3. People seem to gravitate. Like I said, I could think there were some good opportunities to open up. Even that super nice guy, like maybe if you hadn't asked, like if he was busy, maybe he would have talked a little longer, but maybe not. But anyway, I think the rapport was there. So I gave it 3. Negotiations, we didn't really get into negotiations. So I guess I'll say, was there any negotiations except for the one person who you talked about, creative. So I guess I'll do a 2 there.
All right.
Creative option, we got into it so a little bit, so maybe we'll do like 2.5 because it was pitched.
Okay.
Handling objections, I think I'll also say 2.5 because that one we didn't really get too far with the creative, and then the red seller, that was kind of a tough one to go forward with too. Identifying pain, I think we'll go also 2.5 in the middle. We had no verbals, net ORI, or signed contract.
Okay, so 12.5 total score. Gotcha. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Any other feedback? Any overall feedback on what you heard, Jen?
I think overall, like I he had that when if you have your like kind, like unobtrusive tone, which is always nice, and so that I could hear that more today. You got a lot of people to pick up, and I think there was a few where maybe you could have gotten a little bit further. Like you handled that red person while you didn't. Well, actually, there's one that I remember just recently. Actually, that's more top of mind. When you said, I'm going to scratch you off that list, that was good. You got that in there. And he seemed to actually, he or she, I can't recall, seemed to actually, if there weren't the language barrier, I think he would have kept talking to you. And then I think perhaps if you'd pushed a little bit more, like the person said they were going to list it, they were going to consider listing it. It sounded like maybe they had listed it in the past. So maybe exploring that a little bit more, like how's that process been? What's going to determine in next year or next month if you're going to sell or not? What's going to change in your life? Maybe that would have opened up the conversation.
Good stuff. Great feedback, Jen. Here's my thoughts in a nutshell. We tried to chat about this a little bit while Munif was going, but obviously he kept getting calls, so we really couldn't finish the conversation. I'm gonna be a little harder on Munif now, mainly because we're just preparing him for the competition, and I don't know how difficult the judges are going to be. Steve Trank, right? So he gives everybody a 0. But that being said, here's one of the things I noticed, and we talked about this a little bit, Munif. Your first call, the very first conversation that you had was the first time since we've been doing this, I heard the old Munif come back. Just the jovial, pleasant, just really, really everybody loves to talk to Munif, right? The only thing he was missing was the Starbucks. I think you becoming the closer, like the back end dude that comes in when all that hard work and the ground laying's been done, is the hardest thing that you're going to have to overcome right now, because you have to get more comfortable with the fluffy language again.
Right.
And that the cut and dry stuff, I don't know that it would serve you at the very least from a points standpoint, right? So I think about that elderly gentleman that you guys were talking about, the creative finance. the way you responded to him about the seller finance was right, but he's an older guy. He's set in his ways, right? And I feel like the older Munif would have kind of in a more friendly fashion presented it to him in a way that was slightly more palatable, right, and digestible. Whereas you were like, well, you're wrong. So, anyways, you know what I mean? And so I don't think for the deal, it didn't make a difference, right? You didn't change his mind, but from a point standpoint, I think that could impact you. You know what I mean?
You're making a lot of sense, Daniel. And this is where I'm trying to figure out where that balance is, because on one level, the goal isn't to get the best deal. The goal isn't to even necessarily get a deal. The goal is to get the most points you can get. This is a game. So there comes things with that. So I'm going to share a little bit of my logic right now, if I may. I know you'll actually disagree with this, but I'm gonna actually state this. I am pre-qualifying on the phone if somebody has time, because I don't want a conversation necessarily. I'm pre-screening to see if somebody actually has time to do a deal. That's like in the first 5 seconds, I kind of want to figure out if this person has time, and if they do, are they ready to do a deal? And that's what I'm doing going in. I executed it on that maybe 30% of what I want to. I think I can be more intentional with my intro to figure out, hey, do they have time to have this conversation? Are they ready to move forward? Say we agree on everything. Are they even ready to move forward? If the answer is no for either of those, I can ask, well, why? What's stopping you? And then I can dig into pain and maybe get some points there. But if they're not really giving me much, or if they want more than Zillow and whatever, I think it benefits me to let go, because I want to go for the win, not necessarily go, okay, if I can keep this person talking long enough, maybe I can score a lot of. There's that balance, right?
Sure.
If I give up on closing a deal, I completely give up on closing a deal, and it might benefit to talk to a yellow seller, get their whole life story, pitch creative, get a bunch of points everywhere else, but I'll get 0 on negotiation, 0 on verbal, 0 on, net ROI, 0 on signed contract, but I might get points on, rapport, creative, identifying pain, right? So it's like, okay, it's like a safer bet. It's like a base hit, right? So, that's like the game to play. This is kind of like a little bit like poker. Like, which game are we playing? Are we going for the kill? Are we going for the base hit? And I think the answer is go for the win, because these are PPC leads, meaning these are inbound leads, meaning that they called us. So I think we have a little bit more leverage on leads in the competition, because they filled out a web form. They wanted to sell. The web form said cash buyer, blah, 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 whatever. So I remember, in the last time, when we did this last year, the leads were like, they weren't, necessarily good or bad, but there were motivated sellers in there.
Yeah.
In the pool, where there are like opportunities where there were people in there who were like, yeah, I'll do a deal today. I'll sign today. There were those type, which makes me think, okay, PPC leads, I know they convert faster. I know they're way more ready than, maybe cold call leads or stuff, in a pipeline and cold follow-up. So I'm thinking, okay, I think my strategy is going to be go for the kill for the first 15, maybe first 20 minutes. And then if I can't get a deal in 20 minutes, I gotta go, no, okay, I'm not getting a deal today. The best I can hope to get is maybe a verbal. I got to switch strategies on the second half. So
it's go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just want to share that with you.
Yeah. It's funny, right? So for context for everybody that's watching, right, we got like 40, 50 people in between Zoom and various platforms. With what Munif and I are talking about now, there is an element of strategy here, because this is a points thing, right? You got a very limited amount of time. So it's a matter of how you spend your time. So for anybody who didn't understand, he was like, I'm probably going to disagree when he was talking about his intros. The reason he said that is because I've always been a big fan in the past of never asking if anybody has time. Munif's taking a different approach. I don't think this is a right or wrong thing. I think that this is the game he's got to play. He's got to choose what's right for him. And
Right.
my strategy could be wrong. If I was competing, that could very well be the wrong call. But my logic behind it for those who are watching is there's a rule in sales that I like that says don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. I don't want to know if they have time. I just want to maximize the fact that I have them on the call to make the most out of the time that I do have. Because while in one hand, I may not be if I ask them, maybe I'm not wasting time with somebody who's not genuinely serious. On the other hand, I may not get anybody else to answer. And that could have been the one conversation where I racked up points. As a competitor, this is where the Jens and the Munifs of the world have to really choose their strategy and just decide what's going to work for them. And the reality is, you don't really know. None of us have a crystal ball. We just got to kind of play the game that we're going to play, the one that's going to make us most confident and allow us to perform at our best. So I totally respect where you're coming from with that.
I think I'm gonna change my intro 20 minutes into the competition if
See
I
what
don't.
happens.
Yeah, because when I have 10 minutes to now impress judges, because I'm not getting it. There's no way you're getting a signed contract in 10 minutes. It's not feasible, right?
Yeah.
So I'm at the last 10 minutes. I don't have points. Now, okay, I got to get on the phone and stay on the phone with anybody and impress the judges. I got 10 minutes to impress judges. Now I think it makes sense to say, okay, I gotta burn the bridge of the strategy of closing a deal. I gotta now focus on my only options is I gotta impress the judges. I think it makes sense. And I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm just sharing my strategy. I think it makes sense to switch completely. And it's like not even ask people if they have time, like assume they have time and things like that. But in the first 20 minutes, I really want to have a strong upfront contract of like, hey, we're going to do a deal here. Do you have time? Can you make the decision? Are you ready to sell? Would anyone be upset if they found out you sold this house without consulting them? And then just figuring that out first, then making a deal work, opposed to maybe assuming and then having like a great call and then something come up, whether it's a decision maker, whether it's, hey, I'm actually driving. I can't finish this call right now. Maybe it's better to filter those out in the first, 2/3 of the competition. And then the last one, just go Hail Mary. Just my thoughts, but this is
it makes sense. And here's the other factor, right? And then I'm going to give Munif his scores. We'll let Jen go ahead and make some calls. The reality is you're also playing against each individual judge's opinion, right? And so there may be a judge who has a completely different opinion on that, and he or she may grade you differently based on not what you did, but based on how they view what you did, how they would have done it. So these are all factors that we have to play against. So for rapport, here's what I'm going to go. I'm going to continue to hammer Munif on rapport until I hear the old Munif come back. Because it's my belief that the old Munif is what won the hearts of the people last time, and I think it's going to be what the people are looking for. And here's the thing: if they had never heard Munif before, they have nothing to go off of. But because I think everybody's expecting this super, super sweet, nice, lovable Munif, it's going to be that much harder to swallow if they don't hear him. So I'm going to hammer him a little bit. I'm going to give him a 2.5 on rapport. That first one was the best one. But there was the kind of the argumentative tone that was going through. So I'm going to knock that a little bit on the negotiation side. I'm going super harsh. I'm doing a 1.5 on negotiations, simply because with that elderly gentleman, I just think you could have delivered the presentation of the terms and the way that the capital gains can be done. You could have done it in a little bit of a softer tone. I think it would have changed nothing except how it sounded. And if this is a game that you're getting scored on, how it sounds matters, right?
I completely agree with you.
I'm going to give you a 3.5 on creative option, because the reality is you did talk about capital gains tax, right? I mean, you talked about it. Whether or not it was delivered perfectly, you still talked about it. We didn't get too far into it because the opening of the conversation just was kind of closed in your face by the elderly gentleman. So I'm giving you a 3.5 for that. Handling objections, I'm going straight to on the handling objections for the same reason, because that wasn't an objection, but I just think that the wall that he put up may have been a result of the way it was presented. Identifying pain, I'm going to give you a neutral on that, because I think you had the conversations that you had. You didn't really get into those. I think the opportunities that were presented to you, you capitalized on. But I don't think you really created any special opportunities either. Obviously, you're getting zeros on the rest of these just because they didn't happen. So not too much of a different score from Jen. Jen gave you a 12.5. I give you 12. That's 24.5 out of what would have been 80. So this is fun. How are you feeling about this, man?
I feel really good. Yeah, because when I think about it, right, like they're 24.5 out of 80 in probably a list of no opportunities is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm banking on the fact that there is an opportunity, in this event that, these guys spend, I think like $100,000 just to set this event up with like the sponsors and the lead gen and all that stuff. They're claiming like they're getting the best PPC leads, best, motivated sellers, right? So, we have to remind ourselves, like, we're calling what we have. We're prospecting cold lead follow-ups. A lot of these people are not interested. A lot of, we're hand dialing these numbers. We're not using a dialer. So those are really good. I love practicing in these conditions because it's like training for a marathon by like running in the rain naked, like twice the right.
That's how I train for marathons, oddly enough.
Right, and it is you eat your chicken wings and your avocados run naked in the rain.
That's it. I have one hand of chicken wings, one hand of avocados.
Holding all of your Yorkies.
That's it.
Like, I love the fact that these leads are like, nah, not interested, or like habla inglés. Like, no, it's like we're going through it because during the event, they're gonna give us a dialer. You're gonna have more likely connections because you're on a dialer. So it's like boom, boom, boom. The leads are quote unquote fresh because they're, they recently raised their hand to say, yeah, I want to sell. So there's more of a, motivation factor there. So I want the competition to feel easy for me and Jen, not harder than training. So like, I love this, like the 24.5, like bring it, like, let's do it.
I love it.
Let's see what we can do with these leads.
I love it. Okay. I just sent in the chat, Jen, I sent a Google Drive version of the leads that we've been calling. So that way I have the notes that you guys have been making on there.
Okay.
I'm going to start the timer as soon as you get somebody on the call.
I actually don't have that in the chat because I maybe joined after.
No, not this chat, our text.
Oh, our private chat.
Me, Mooney. Yeah.
Okay. Our text. Okay.
Yeah, one of the things I was saying earlier while we're waiting for Jen to kind of get the calls rolling, I'm going to start the timer for everybody who's watching. So for everybody who's just kind of joining on this, going to give everybody a little update. Obviously, we're training for the Closers Olympics. Jen tries out this Thursday. You guys got to make sure that you guys are there and watching. That's going to be live on the Closers Olympics YouTube, I believe. I'll see if I can find a link for you guys, toss it in here so you guys can go out there and support Jen when she tries out this Thursday. It's going to be super dope. Munif's already in the competition because he was in last time and he placed. And so we're helping them get prepared. What we're doing is we're duplicating the things that they're going to be experiencing in the Closers Olympics best we can, and just allowing them to get their reps in, practice, and then get graded and scored just like they would in the Closers Olympics. I think this is super helpful, one, because I think it's a great way to support one another. I think it's a great learning experience for people who are new, just like the Closers Olympics are going to be. And I just think it's an overall great thing because I don't know that the other people that are competing have a community like this that's going to rally around them, support them, spend time out of the day to put all of this stuff together. And we got about 50 people in here. We got a bunch of people in Zoom. We got people watching on YouTube because they want to learn and support Jen and Munif. And so I think that's going to be really helpful to them. I think it's going to serve them greatly going into this because I promise you this, I don't care how many calls you've made, it hits different when you got a timer and people watching. So the more they can knock those cobwebs off, the better. Jen, you're welcome to start dialing whenever you want.
Okay. Munif, what line did you leave off?
Oh, I called Lawanda last. So you're with Peter Gunther.
Peter Gunther.
Yeah, line 80. Peter Gunther. Oops. Yeah,
so this round, me and Munif and myself, are going to be grading Jen on her calls and giving her feedback. We'll probably be chatting a little bit. I don't know if you want to mute out like Munif did, Jen, or if you're going to mind if we have commentary. I don't want to distract you. I'll let you do whatever you want there.
That's okay. I have too many devices
You'll just
to manage the
I got
the
it.
volume
Got
on
it.
top of it. This is the training, and what are we training naked with avocados and
And
peppers?
chicken wings.
Yeah, exactly. So the
Training naked
background
with
noise will
avocados and
just,
chicken wings tomorrow at 4.
exactly. We'll just add to it. Oh, I'm sorry, Munif, like about what number was that? Are you like halfway through?
Yeah, line 80. Check line 80.
Line any. Okay, I found it. Thank you.
Hey, so Dan, don't forget that in the competition they let you game it a little bit. So like, they listen to the crowd, right? So like, say Jen or me, we're not getting leads, everyone's not interested. They will add more time.
Yes, they will. They're very, very, very fair with that. Here's the thing: it's also tough, right? Like this is where we gotta realize that like the humans are running this, and things get missed. So this happened to both me and Munif. With one of mine, I almost didn't grade it properly because my first call got forgotten, and so everybody's like, "Yo, what happened?" Nobody graded him on his first call. With you, your scoring got cut halfway through. So people had to remember what you did the day before. That's hard. It's hard to remember what you did 20 minutes ago, let alone the day before.
Yeah, they only graded me on the last half of the next day. So
yeah.
that
These are the things that, like, for me, there is such value in the presentation and the way you demonstrate yourself. Because if you make yourself memorable enough, I think that hopefully the judges will recognize
This is Jen. I am a local home buyer, and I'm calling about your house on Double Lake Drive. You expressed interest a little bit ago. Are you still interested?
What? You're selling the house?
Yes. Are you still considering selling?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So catch me up to speed. What has you thinking about selling?
If you get a good offer, I'll sell it.
If you get a good offer, you sell it. Okay. I understand. So besides getting a good offer, because that is always important, I agree. What else is important to you about selling?
That's the only thing I want, that it should be sold, and I move to a new house.
Oh, okay, you're going to a new house. Are you moving you moving out of state, in state? What's that like?
No, I'm moving to a bigger house.
You're moving to a bigger house. Okay, well, it sounds like an exciting move. Is it it's a good thing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, great. So how long have you been trying to sell this house?
I've not been trying to sell it immediately, but if I get an offer, I'll sell it.
Okay. So you haven't done a lot to try to sell it. It doesn't sound like you need to sell it, but you would like to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, what's your timeline for that? Are you thinking like next 30 days, 60 to 90, 6 months?
Next 30 days.
30 days. Okay. So it sounds like if we could agree on a reasonable number today, is there anything that would prevent you from signing a purchase agreement?
No.
No? Okay. And so that kind of leads me to my next question is, what's going on with the house? Is it vacant, tenant occupied? Like,
no, we are living in that.
Okay.
Self-occupied. You're
living in it. And have there been any major updates in the last 2-3 years?
Yeah, there are a lot of updates. The problem is only with the foundation. It has a foundation problem. We got the quote, it costing us about $9,000 from a light foundation company.
Got it. So there's some foundation issues. You got an estimate, it sounds like. And outside of that, would you say it's more of a fixer upper, or is it market ready?
It's ready.
It's ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if it's market ready, I always want to ask this question because I just want to make sure and I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. Are you already talking to realtors and considering listing it, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, I'm considering listing it. I'm not talking to anyone. I myself is a real estate agent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who is a real estate agent?
Myself.
Oh, you are? I knew I was talking to a smart man. I could sense it in your voice. Stop yelling. Sorry, I just got bombarded by my kids home from summer.
No problem.
I think they were excited you were a realtor. So, girls, honey, please leave the room. Okay. So, question. Since you already have the golden keys, why aren't you going to list it yourself so you can,
Yeah, I will do it. I haven't done it, but I'll do it.
Okay, so you already want to list it?
I will do it myself if I don't sell it like if somebody wants to buy it direct, then it's better. Otherwise, I list it.
I understand. So then what would you like to get from an investor that you wouldn't get by listing it?
Well, I don't know what I'll get with listing it, but I like something around $400,000 of it.
Okay, so you've already done your research, it sounds like, and you want 400. And if it's market ready, sounds like you've been in the business for a while. You've been a realtor for a while.
We have done the whole house has wood flooring, the engineered wood flooring. Both all 2.5 bathrooms are updated. It recently, not very recently, about a year back, we got it painted also. Kitchen is updated. So there's a big backyard with a covered patio.
Yeah, it sounds like a very nice house. So because I know you're very experienced and you understand the industry and the market. Not just me, but all cash buyers. That's the first way we buy it. We're always going to, we're going to be below market value. But if your house is market ready, then it doesn't sound like a cash buyer is going to get you that number that you need. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Investor, when the university wants to make more money on it.
I'm sorry. Can you please repeat that?
I said when an investor buys that property, wants to make money on it, more money on it.
Yeah, a little bit of money, right? Marginal profit on the back end. Absolutely. So since the cash number is not going to make sense for your home that's market ready, have you or would you consider doing some sort of seller carryback if we could come up to your number?
What do you say? I don't get you.
Would you, if we could come up to your number, would you consider some sort of seller financing where you took payments?
That I don't know. I have to talk to my family and then give you an answer.
You would have to talk to your family? What do you think that they would say? Do you need the money for something?
We are buying another house, so we need money to buy it. If we have in this house, we have to pay to the lender about $129,000.
So you need to sell this house in order to move into your next house.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the 129?
That is the VO to the mortgage.
Okay. That's your remaining mortgage. Okay, got it. Well, what if you were able, we could give you your asking price, you were able to keep your mortgage in place and still purchase your next home? Is it something you would consider?
What do you say? I don't get you. What you say? How it works?
Well, so we buy houses this way frequently, especially in this market. In fact, I was just speaking with another realtor named Rita. She contacted us because she wanted to sell quickly and she did not want to deal with showings and whatnot, even though she could easily list it herself. So therefore, she also had a mortgage in place.
So what we agreed on, I said, I can give you your full asking price, Rita. Let's leave your mortgage in place and I will make those payments for you directly to the lender. And she said, all right, that's fine, because I know I can still qualify for another loan. In fact, I have cash reserves on the side also. Does that part make sense?
But if I don't pay to the mortgage company, then the house remains on my name. The title will not be transferred to you.
You are correct in the fact that it does stay in your name, but the title still transfers from you to me and my company. We still go through escrow just like you would a traditional real estate transaction. So we are responsible for taxes, insurance, the maintenance, the property itself. So that is how the mortgage works. But you have a decent amount of equity, right?
Yeah, I have equity of that house, about $200,000.
Yes. So again, you're in a power position, because for that, we would elevate you to a lender position so that we would make payments directly to you for your equity after giving you a down payment to help purchase your next home. Is that super confusing, or does that make any sense?
So you will not pay us the total equity in the house, or you will only pay us the down payment of the house?
So yeah, so we would, for your equity, I would give you a down payment for security. And then for the rest of your equity, we would make you monthly payments. So you would get a passive income to supplement your new house on what you owed on your new house.
Okay. Again, I would say I'll have to discuss with my family, and then I can give you an answer. You can call me maybe tomorrow, same time, then we'll be able to get you some answer.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I understand. It's so important to share and make sure your whole family is on board. I would want to do the same thing. How do you think that conversation will go?
I don't know. This house is on the name of my son. I have to ask him what does he think about it, and then we can go forward.
Oh, okay. What's your son's name?
His name is Omar Malik. O-M-E-R.
Omar
Malik.
Okay.
M-A-L-I-K.
Okay. So how about, is it possible for Omar and yourself and I to have a three-way conversation? So I can
we can. We may tomorrow we'll do that.
Okay, so tomorrow at this same time, we will. It's 2:22, right? You have the same time as me. Okay, tomorrow at like 2:00. Then you, Omar, and I will all talk. And there's no need to get. I mean, if you want to kind of share it, you don't have to get too into the weeds. You could just say there's this lady named Jen. She can give us our full asking price, so we don't lose any of our equity. Let's get on a call with her and see how she can help us out. How's that sound?
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, Asif. You have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., Daniel.
Jesus, guys, if you guys are listening to this, I really, really would love to hear you guys' feedback in the chat on how you heard about that call. I think if you show up like that in these challenges and you get calls like that, Jen, it's going to be really, really tough for you to not take big steps in this competition.
I'm trying. I'm realizing I need to, from all the feedback, I need to get to the price quicker and stuff. So that's my goal.
Yeah. Yeah, the third party story, Desiree definitely went through really well.
That actually was a real story.
Was it really? Awesome.
It was a real story.
I think there's enough stories in real estate.
Part
You
of
don't
it.
have to make up third party stories. You can just use other people's real stories or your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the only thing that I even saw there that I might have, and this is really, really nitpicking. The only thing I might have done differently is there's a standard approach towards stuff, towards the way we make offers, towards the way we tell them that we're not their buyer, towards the way we say you should probably list it with an agent. But in this circumstance, this guy said, I am an agent, but I still want to hear cash offers from random people. So Jen responded with the normal response, which is, I'm not your buyer. You should list it with an agent. In this circumstance, I probably would have switched it up a little bit, which Jen kind of did. But what I would have probably said is something along the lines of, okay, well, since you're instead of saying, well, as you know, cash liars are going to be less, so you probably don't want that. I would have probably said, well, you're an agent and you know cash buyers want a better deal. Are you okay with giving a discount to a cash buyer since it sounds like that's the route that you want to go?
That's good.
An automated voice message.
And then I would have just seen what his response was, whether it was yes or no, just gone down that road because it sounds like he knew, right? And so I'm just going to assume that he's okay with it and clarify and then move forward and then do basically what Jen would have done anyways.
Seven, two.
All right, let's see how she does. Let's go ahead and show the time, guys. Everybody who's watching this, she is halfway through. This is a great example of the type of call that you don't really know what direction it's going to go. It's a one-legged call. There was a little bit of a black swan in that there is another set of parties that's involved. There's a lot of directions you can go with that. I think she did a good job of handling that because even though he wasn't the final decision maker, she extracted a lot of points from the situation and then tried to schedule the follow-up. I don't know how other people would grade her for the way she handled that in the competition. But I think in a real life scenario, even in a competition scenario, she kind of did the most that she could out of that and has a good follow-up scheduled as a result as well. So I think if you're going to use 12 or 13 minutes on a call, I don't think that was the worst call that you could use.
I could have given him homework. Just thinking about
Yeah,
that.
that could have helped for sure.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about this business and what we do. Anything with sales, I think anything has this, but one of the things I love about sales is when you really start to get intentional about this, it stops becoming a task that you have to do and it starts becoming something that you choose to do. And you want to sharpen those skills. You want to get better. I love it because you can always.
Hi, Nancy. This is Jennifer. I'm a local home buyer and I see. Oh, I'm going to scratch you off my list. What changed?
What do you mean what changed? Y'all called 30 times. I'm on the doctor's office.
Oh.
The last 5 seconds.
Oh, well, I'm going to let you get back to your doctor, but I was calling. Okay. Well, you talk to somebody on my team and express some interest in selling your house on Mission Circle. Has that ship sailed?
When you ever talk to anybody about selling our house on Mission Circle?
You know, I don't have a date here. It could have been in the last month or so. Was there? Have you?
And it's just a repetitive deal. It's just nonstop. People call and call and call about sell your house.
That sounds.
I need to sell my house.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds super frustrating. Good for you. That's awesome. Good for you.
Okay. So you please take my number off your system all the way across the board, all the way across California, all the way across the whole state.
All right. I'm going to say you are not looking to sell, period. You have a good day. Bye. All right, so call him tomorrow. Let's see.
Hey, Peter. Yeah, appreciate the question, man. Yeah, my sales training is coming out soon. I'm actually just waiting for the attorney to finish the documents as we speak, and it will be available for everybody. No, man, feel free to ask, man. It's going to be available for everybody. And yeah, I'm super, super excited about it. Just waiting on the paperwork to be in place. She's got 11 minutes left. See if she can make the most out of it. Time seems to be going a little bit faster on Jen's than it was in Munif's. Yeah, Peter, we're going to have a couple of different things that we're doing, man. I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to do some things that other people aren't doing. So if you follow me on IG, make sure you shoot me a message, follow some of the stuff that we're doing, because I'm definitely going to be talking to people who are in the business who want to learn, and making sure that we don't just do things that I think are a good idea, but things that you guys think you might need as well. So we're going to be tailoring the course to a degree to what helps the people taking it.
Want this guy to answer because he has an LA number.
Immediate rapport. Is that how it works for California people? Like you're from I'm also from California. Just immediate. Is that how that works?
Unlike that last guy, take me up from California to New York.
You're like, I'm getting the impression you're not interested. Is that fair, sir? I appreciate you, Peter. Thank you, brother. One of the benefits of doing this straight from Zoom is it's simple. You just push the button and it goes live, but you lose a lot of the features that you get from StreamYard. So I may have to start using.
Negative. I hear my girls playing Shake It Off downstairs, so it's good timing.
That's how you know I like hip hop too much, because I'm like I was like, you brush your shoulders off from Jay-Z, but then I realized you're probably talking about Taylor Swift, so it's not the same.
Hi, Kathy. This is Jen. I am a local buyer, and I'm calling about your house on Ridgefield Park. Are you still considering selling that?
Yes, I am.
You are, okay. Well, this would just take a few minutes for me to ask you some questions and see if we're the right fit for each other. And if yes, then we can talk numbers. And if not, that's all good too. At least we had fun talking about real estate. Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay. I apologize for the crinkling in the background. My little girl is asking me to open some cookies. So just so I can, okay. So catch me up to speed. What has you considering selling?
We are moving, my grandkids who live with me go to a different school system, and I'm driving a lot. My daughter and I both are driving a lot.
Oh, okay. You're driving a lot to get to the district where you want to be?
Yes, because they're going to school in a different school district. Yes.
Got it. Okay. So do you already have a place to go to?
Not yet.
Not
That's
yet.
why we're waiting.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
Place hasn't come on the market, and that's why we're waiting.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, what is your ideal timeline for selling? Like, would you like to
By September.
by September? Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice to get there for the new year.
We have a multi-generational house to sell.
Wow. Okay, thank you. Oh, wow. Okay. So you have a multi-generational house. Now, I know it sounds like, have you been trying for a while, or is it because there's so many people involved, just making it challenging, or what's going on there?
Well, it's more finding out which houses we want, the area we want. Kamba has a limited variety of houses, a limited
amount of subdivisions and things like that. And you have to be careful where you're going to be going because some of the taxes are very, very high. So it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And we know which schools we want. So we're trying to stay in those particular schools.
That's great. It sounds like you know exactly what you want. So that
We've been looking for a while,
have you? How long you been looking?
about a year.
Oh, wow, a year. So over the last year, what do you think like the top 2 reasons are you haven't been able to find what you're looking for?
I've had to change jobs. Part of my jobs have gotten cut out, and then some of them I started back on, and wages got cut or whatever. So I want to be very careful.
Yeah.
I have a lot of equity in my home. That's not a secret. I'm not selling because I have to. I'm just tired of driving, and the kids are getting older, and we're going to have foreign school, and it gets to be a mess when everybody's got activities, especially on the same day.
Oh my goodness.
So, that's where I'm at. So we can afford to be choosy because we do not have to.
Yeah, that makes sense, Kathy. And so you and your daughter are embarking on this together. This is the 2 of you who are really, yeah.
Well,
okay.
my son-in-law is involved too, but I'm the buyer.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
I'm the buyer. I'm the seller. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're the buyer and the seller. Got that. So then, thinking, about what the perfect thing that you're looking for, have you been working with realtors, or how have you been finding the places that you're considering?
My daughter does a lot of research on the internet as far as what was coming on the market, what hasn't come on the market. We've looked at some new homes. We've looked at many things. So I'm not ready right now yet. I need a couple more months. I'm not ready yet. But once I'm ready, I'm ready. We have to have at least a 5-bedroom house, or at least 4 where we can convert one into a 5th bedroom.
Okay.
That's part of the criteria. There aren't a lot of homes that have 5 bedrooms. And it has to be a big enough bedroom where we can put 2 kids in it because we really need 6 bedrooms. So.
Yeah. Yes, I understand, Kathy. Thanks for sharing that. Is there anything that I could help you with in terms of like the finding the place? I'm happy to help to share any opportunities that cross my plate, because I do.
Soon are you wanting to move?
Oh, I'm actually not moving. I wouldn't be living there myself. My partner and I, we're actually buying, and then I'm not sure what exactly we would do with it yet. Sometimes we rent, sometimes we do group homes, sometimes we,
You're an investor.
I am.
Okay.
Yes. But my goal is to figure out what it is that you need first, to see if there's anything I can do to help before we even can obviously buy the house. Yeah.
No, I get it. I get offers. And I wouldn't say every week. I'd say within every 2 weeks we get some kind of offer, either from Redfin or from Orchard or from this person or from that person. So, and the market, believe it or not, is starting to heat up more. So that helps us.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd say maybe within the next 2 to 3 months, we'll be ready to make our move, or at least I hope so. If not, we'll probably be driving for another year. We've done it 4 years. We might as well do it 5.
Yeah. God. Well,
life isn't always perfect, but we don't have to move. This house, size-wise, fits us perfectly. The 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath home.
Okay. Yeah.
Not sharp. So we've got the space we need, and I'm not willing to compromise too much on the space. The homes we've been looking at in a comparable price range have been 3,500 square feet, maybe 4,000 if we're lucky, but not too much. But anyway, we would be squeezed more. That's not necessarily a great idea.
Yeah. So you don't need to sell, but it would be nice to alleviate some of this driving and the stress of having 4 kids at a school and all those activities. I get it.
Right. We have 2 in 2 different schools and 1 and 2 in another school. So there's 3 schools.
Wow. Okay. So then, in terms of, you mentioned you've been getting offers. I mean, what are those offers looking like? Are they what you're looking for?
They're not bad.
They're not bad.
Okay. They're not as good as what they were when the housing market first heated up, but they're starting to rise, and we're having more people in our neighborhood where there are comps where their prices are around 700, if not more. For
Okay.
less square feet and less yard.
So what are you hoping to get for your property?
As much as possible.
That's a great answer. And if you ask, that's a great answer. And I'm hoping to get it for as less as possible. And together,
I know, because you're an investor. I get it.
But
I do.
Together though, my goal is for us to agree on a price that's reasonable for both of us. That's what our job is together.
Right. So right now I'm not ready. When I am ready, then I will sit down and we can study the markets, and my daughter and I can determine where we think the good price is, get some comps. I don't know if we would necessarily put it on the market to list. That's always an option. But and sell outright, or whether we would just have someone come in and buy it. That's what I would prefer, but I know it's sometimes more competitive if it's listed on the open market.
It's true. Yes, it's true. I mean, yeah, I know you mentioned 2 or 3 months. Is there something that's happening in the next couple 3 months that are gonna?
I want to see how my job's going.
Oh, your job. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to buy a property. Let's put it like this: when I bought this place, I was working a part-time job, and I wanted to make sure my part-time job was going to be there because obviously my cash was, that I used some of that cash to make the payment. And the gal assured me that everything was fine, blah, blah, blah. I signed the papers. The job was pulled. So
Yeah.
don't trust much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So are you starting the job soon, or you've already started and you want to see?
No, I've already started it, but there's some flux in there. And, with the way the economy is and stuff, I'm just being careful. Like I said, I don't have to move.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put myself in a position where I feel any more financial pressure than I have to.
Yes, that makes sense. So I have a question for you, because you sound very rational and very thought out, and that's awesome.
I used to be married to a home builder, and we build and sold houses.
Oh, yeah. So you know what you're talking about then. So then, let's just say like in 2 or 3 months, everything is great and your job is great. And I'm hoping that it is for the sake of you and your family. At that point, then if we were able to come up with a plan and help you find your next home where you get your 4 to 5 bedroom house that accommodates your whole family, what sort of price would you be looking for? I mean, is it tip top shape ready, market ready, or does it need some work?
It needs some work, but we may do some of it.
Okay.
It needs some painting, and it's probably going to need a new roof. Other than that, no. But I'm not sure how much we're going to do.
Got it. So,
I mean, obviously, if we do not move, we're going to do it all, right?
Yeah.
If we decide to move, I don't know. And I know now sometimes you can have places like Orchard or Redfin take over your house, and you can have time to move out and do whatever repairs you need to do rather than having to have everything done first.
Is that something that interests you? I mean, are you looking to stick around, or?
Well, I'd like to have a little bit of flexibility in moving. I don't want to have to be out in 3 days.
Yeah.
We've got 7 people to move.
Yeah, I understand.
So I'd like to have some time in order to get out, maybe 2 weeks to move. We can move all the big stuff out, and then we can slowly move everything else out, and then we can get the house ready for whoever wants to come in.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Kathy. Well, I appreciate all, you opening up and sharing this. This is, important, because I always want to make sure that we're getting you what you need. So maybe we touch base in a month or so, just touch base, see how things are going, and then continue to have the conversation, see if anything changes on your end, and then hopefully we would be able to, make a deal happen together.
Let me get your number. I want to. Your name is Jennifer. What is your last name?
Shelton.
Shelton. Okay, I'm going to put you in my phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Kathy.
You call who you are.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
You too,
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
There it is. with the final call, you actually went over probably about 3-4 minutes on that one.
I know. I'm glad Munif asked because I saw that I was like, okay.
All right, so we will get to the final scoring for this call. Again, anybody who's watching this, who's listening in, if you guys have any opinion or feedback that you guys have, you're welcome to score along. Throw your scores in the chat. But the purpose of this is really just to help them get prepared. So we're going to give them the feedback based on what we heard, just like the judges are going to be doing. Jen, how are you feeling? How do you feel about your round? How do you think you did?
That one, I could have moved it quicker.
Okay.
I wasted some time, and so I needed to have more control and keeping the end in mind, right? How you said, like, what's the end goal is to close escrow.
Yep.
So what do I need to do to get there?
Here's the thing. We discussed this the other day as well, right? This is just where your default personality is a little bit at conflict with what's required here. It's something you can definitely do, right? I just think you need to look at it from more of a motherly stance maybe than a salesperson stance. Because as a mom, you know it's your responsibility to take control and direct the circumstance. But when you're dealing with another adult, you feel a little bit apprehensive to do that. Not realizing that just like kids, humans need guidance. We need directions, especially when we're dealing with something that's not something we do every day. And this lady with her husband used to do X, and that's fine. So she's familiar, but unless she does this every day, she's probably somewhat out of practice. For me, what I would have probably done in this circumstance is super early out of the gate, Jen, I would have just grabbed the steering wheel on this. I would have said, you know what? Let me say this, because it sounds like your circumstance a little bit unique. It sounds like you're not willing to do anything until you get a new house. Is that correct? She's going to say yes, because she made that clear throughout the entire time, right? So then my response is, okay, let me ask you this. Here's the interesting part. I'm an investor. So part of what I do every day is what I'm doing with you, finding properties that are good investments. Sometimes I keep those properties. Sometimes I sell those to homeowners. So it's not unrealistic that I find a property that could meet the exact criteria that you guys are looking for. What's more is I work with off-market properties. So I'm going to be finding properties that you guys would probably never come across. Let me ask you this. If I'm able to do that, and that happens sooner, would that speed up your timeline potentially or no? And immediately, because this is a competition, I'm going to find out if it's worth wasting any more time on this conversation. Because if she says, nope, not doing that because I still want to wait for X, Y, and Z reasons. Amazing. So let me do this. Let's schedule a follow-up for a different day. And what I want to do is I want to take a full criteria of what you're looking for. I want to get a full idea of what it is that we could potentially do on your property. And then we'll follow up. Why would I do that? Because this is a competition we're getting scored on. So let's define this real quickly. In real life, Jen did amazing on this call, and there's no question in my mind that Jen would probably be the person she does business with in the future, as long as they continue to do follow up the way they did. There was an automatic rapport there. This lady was reasonable. It's two mothers that are doing things. There's just a lot of reasons that this will be a deal in 3 to 6 months. This is also a competition. So I believe that the judges would listen to the fact that you wasted 14 minutes on somebody who's not even ready to sell right now. That would hurt you a lot. So my thought is the way I approached it, here's what I do. If I can help, what's your timeline? If she says, yes, I'm willing to sell now I'm going straight to numbers, and I'm now acting like I'm back on a regular sales call. And I say, okay, amazing. So we're going to act as if that's the case. I'm going to go to work. Before we wrap up the call, I'm going to get a little bit of the criteria that you want. Let me ask you this. On your property, let me get a ballpark of where you are. What are you looking at? And I'm going to make it sound like it's a checklist, right? Say we can go into details later, but let me get a checklist. What are you looking for the property? Ballpark. Doesn't have to be exact, right? And so I'm getting her to checklist this for me. So now we can breeze through it. Amazing. Okay. Do you have an ideal, go through like the condition? You asked her about the condition, maybe a little bit of work. I'm going to go through all of those different things. I'm going to say, okay, amazing. Let me ask you this. Right now, the market's been a little bit shifting. Interest rates are tough. So even though your property's probably worth more, that doesn't change the fact that it's going to cost more to live in because of the interest rates. If that's an issue, are you willing to do something creative to sell your property if the market calls for it? Right? I'm blaming the market for that need. And I'm getting whether or not she's okay with that. You could probably cover all of that in about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Now you've racked up all of the points in that category. You can get off and move on to the next conversation because it's probably not closing now anyways. That's probably how I would have done that strategically. But whether you do that in this call or another call, Jen, I think that you can take that super control. Let me get through this real quickly. I'm going to explain to you why I'm asking them like this, and then we'll get to it. I think that would be a really good way for you to kind of navigate speeding up, and you're qualifying the reason you're doing it in advance, which maybe will make you feel more comfortable for doing so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. And
Okay,
then I would,
Munif.
Yeah, so I listened to both of those calls, and I want to actually point out, right, like, you know, Jen's going to be graded on both, you know, the total time frame, and that first call was so excellent. It was
So good.
absolutely stellar. But this is an interesting dilemma because, like, for example, a lot of this, if you read my comments, it depends on the judge too. So here's the interesting piece. I remember Ryan Pineda. I remember Christina Aguilera. I remember these judges. I remember listening to what they said. I forgot the third judge. I think it was for the first day. Do you remember the third judge who was with Christina? And
I think it was
Ryan?
the Polites.
Yes, I think so.
Crystal
Was it?
Polite.
Okay, cool. So
I think.
they, in my opinion, they don't actually do wholesaling all that much. So like Ryan Pineda he's a fix and flipper. He buys from wholesalers. Christina Aguilera has made a name for herself in transaction coordination. They're in real estate, but they're not in wholesaling. They gave me a lot of points the first day. Of course, I got a contract. Great. But they were really impressed with how I sounded. On the final day, the fact is Brent Daniels, Max Maxwell, and the third judge on that day. Do you remember the third judge? Who was the third judge on the finals?
Was it Steve Trang?
No, he was second.
He was day 2, right? The second.
Yeah, I don't remember the third judge.
Max
I remember
Maxwell.
yeah, well, I mean, it was another caliber person, like just strong wholesaler, right?
Completely
like,
different scoring criteria.
Exactly. Why? Yep. Why is that? What's going on here? Because I didn't change my strategy day 1 versus day 3. I just didn't. I went with that same approach. It really worked for me day 1. It didn't work for me day 3. And I really thought a lot about this. It's because Max and Brent and those other guys, they know they've learned to filter and screen and know who's gonna actually sign, who's not. You're like Max was harsh on me on, hey, you're wasting time with the seller. In that moment, I couldn't break my flow. I had to just ignore what Max was saying and focus because I was racking up points. But Max was right. So, it's this balance that we have to play where, okay, do we want to sound good or do we want to close the deal? And I'm playing that balance where I just got to sound gooder. And Jen is got to play that balance where she sounds good. She's got to close the deal. She's got to go for closing these deals because, Jen, you sound great. And you're talking to these guys and they're telling you their life story. But, those are lead management, lead nurturing calls. It's not the lead management, lead nurturing Olympics. It's the closers Olympics. So, however, you will impress judges. You might even get like top points from some judges. There might be a judge that just gives you top scores because you sound so good, because you got the report, because you got the pain, because you handle some objectives. So we can't ignore that. So what you're doing is actually perfect. I would say the refinement is, can you potentially get off the phone sooner? Don't change anything. Can you get off the phone sooner so you have the ability to potentially lock up a deal? Because first guy, he's not signing papers today. We know that. We agreed. You did. I would say you got a 5, 5 out of 5 on creative. You overcame objections. You handled all of that. That was really, really good. Your rapport was 5 out of 5.
I'm actually going to share. I'm going to share my screen, Munif, and you could just kind of give her scores real quickly while you're wrapping this up.
Right. Yeah, I'd give you 5 out of 5 for rapport. I didn't see negotiations. That was there was no okay, would you but the thing is, I would say I'll give you half for negotiations because switch, in my opinion, going and saying, hey, look, we're not going to be able to do cash, but if you take terms, that might work for us, right? Now that in itself is a negotiation on how you buy. So I'll do 2.5 for that. Create an option, definitely a 5 out of 5. Handling objections. This was, this is a little bit tougher because they didn't give you objections to overcome. However, you overcame objections by not having them in the first place. That's Daniel says that a lot. Like if you're really good, you don't even get those objections in the first place. So I'll give you a 3 here. And then identifying pain, 5 out of 5 for sure. And then there's no verbal, right? There's no net ROI. There's no signed contract yet. And like that's the challenge, right? Even if you get all 5 across like the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, and you get, 25 points, there's another 15 that's like is going to be zeros if you don't get there. And so that's the hard part. It's like, okay, are you going to go for the guaranteed 25 in this competition? Because like, I know you can easily do that. Like with no matter who picks up the phone, I know you can get 25 points guaranteed. No issue, no challenge. But what are you going to do? What are you going to sacrifice to see if you can get those last 15? And I learned that the hard way. I was really good at getting those 25 points. But then like the last 15, like on the first day, I think I got lucky. On the last day, I think I lost opportunities. There were opportunities for me to get those last points, but I never got them because I spent an hour on the phone talking to 4 sellers and I lost. And it's like, man, if I just went for the win, maybe I would have found that seller that was like, yeah, you know what? I will sell. I will sell today. I just need this. And it's like, I kick myself for that. So I did the strategy where I guaranteed myself a failure, of the competition. I guaranteed myself losing that to guarantee getting 5s in all those categories and 0 on the verbal net ROI and signed contract. So, that's my frame on this. Like I think you're gonna get those points if you continue with your current strategy. But if you can tweak it a little bit using the techniques Daniel said, and even just coming up with your own to just maybe when you can sense like, okay, I've extracted as much as points as I can from this, I got to get off the phone because I want to win this thing.
Yeah.
That's the small tweak I would make. I've got the whole opposite problem. Like if there's a deal there, I'm doing 7, 8, and 9. Like that's all I do. Okay. I actually don't even know why sellers are selling anymore. Lately, someone was like, hey, this deal you're selling me, why is the seller selling? I don't even know. Like the agent brought it to my JV partner who brought it to me. I negotiated, we got a deal. I'm selling it. Like I got to go back and relearn all this other stuff. So we're coming at this from both ends, and we really want to be at that sweet spot in the middle where, we knock these guys' socks off. These judges, no matter who it is, they listen to us. They go, okay, these guys absolutely know how to have a great conversation. They have a ton of energy. They've got a ton of rapport. They're passionate about real estate, and they know how to close deals. They know when something's not an opportunity. They know how to politely exit the phone to, secure the next one. So that's my feedback on we're both at, but specifically with your call.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Munif.
Love that a lot, and it's thorough, right? Mooney's done this before, so he definitely has a perspective that I think a lot of people don't share, and he's 1,000% correct, right? When I was doing the Closers Olympics, the one thing that I kept hearing is I was super aggressive and I was super X, because that's how I present. Now I'm able to tailor that, but if I'm not given the opportunity to present that, then they're only going to see that one side. That's a very small sample size under which they're going to grade me. So these are all things that we factor. I think your default personality, Jen, we've discussed this many, many times before. It's such a great personality to deal with. It's going to serve you. I give examples about the way you can say things, right? But whether those things work for you or not is irrelevant. If I had to summarize my advice to Jen into something very,
thank you.
Later, Munif. Thanks, brother.
Thanks,
if
guys.
I had to summarize that down to keep it very simple, it's be a little bit more comfortable taking control and do that a little bit faster, right? If you can do that, that's it. Those are the only 2 things. And I say this all the time. The two most important things that are necessary for every conversation is confidence and control. With confidence and control, you can do whatever you want. Without it, I don't care how good the deal is, you're gonna have a hard time closing it. So if you can just add those things a little bit more aggressively than you currently do, it's going to be really, really tough for these people to keep up. And I think you know that, right? It's just a matter of changing that or tailoring it for this particular competition. For my score, I'm definitely doing a 5 there. I'm doing a 3. I'm doing a 3 on negotiations. And here's why. Because the first gentleman that you spoke with, you got through his concerns and you got him to be willing to schedule the follow-up with his son. And that's a very nuanced thing to do. I thought that was good. And they're ready for a follow-up as quickly as tomorrow. So I'm going to grade that because I think that that could open up a lot of good doors forward tomorrow. For the creative option, I'm going to be a little bit harder because I felt like there was a little bit more opportunity in the second call had you pushed it forward a little fast and let her ramble a little bit less on her personal circumstance. So I'm going to give you a 4 there because I feel like you could have presented terms to them as well, and that wasn't done because we couldn't get there. Handling objections. I'm going to go right down the middle here with Munif as well, just because there's both sides of it. So if we're giving you the average, it would have been a 3.5 if it was just based on the first call. For identifying pain, giving you a 4 on this too. Mainly because I'm trying to average what other judges may do. And then of course, zeros on the rest of these, which gives you almost a 40 out of 80, which is really, really not bad considering that you didn't get to the final 3. Which for everybody else, obviously we're talking to Jan, but we're talking to all the people that are watching this as well, right? This is a competition that factors a bunch of things that Munif just explained. I won't go into those again. But at the end of the day, guys, there's 2 very important things that need to be factored in this. One of them I didn't do in my first round. In my first round, I was listening to the judges at the same time that I was having conversations with the sellers. And that didn't distract me as much as what it did is it forced me to go down a road that I wasn't organically going to go down. It put me in a position to not be myself. And as a result, I couldn't do what I would normally do. So there's just a really, really fine balance in tailoring how you approach conversations so that you get the highest scores, but also staying authentically true to yourself. Jen authentically is such a powerhouse in the way that she communicates and has conversations. She has a huge advantage. So what Munif and I are giving as far as feedback really just resonates is don't lose that, right? Like she doesn't need to lose that. She doesn't need to get away from that. It's just that what are the small tweaks that you can do that allow you to stay yourself, but also play to the points in this game? And I think it just comes down to what she knows, the speeding up a little bit. She can be herself and speed up and just feeling more comfortable being in control. I think that is I think that's more important than speed in these circumstances because I think that control turns into speed.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think if you can get feel more comfortable just yanking somebody a little bit by the reins a little bit sooner than you would have, it's going to be really fun to see. But that being said, Jen, what do you think? How are you feeling? How are you feeling after the feedback? How are you feeling? You're 2 days away from going up in your tryouts.
I know. I guess I just want to keep like fine tuning. You know, I know I have some work to do in these next couple days to be more conscious of the time because I didn't have my timer up either. So I need to have like my own timer up, and that would probably help put a little pressure on.
Yeah.
And remembering what the end goal is, because I wasn't thinking of, is this person going to sign today? I was thinking about points, but the contract is a lot of the points. It's like, you know, because the verbal, the contract, the net OR. So if they're not going to sign today after I know that for sure, then cutting it cleaner because I wasn't thinking that way.
Yeah, it's about 40% of the score, right? You know what I mean? So that's pretty significant. Right at time. So you can get, I will share this. I don't have the link for it. So the Closes Olympics has 2 packages to my knowledge. And I'll see if I can message Elijah and get a link. But essentially you have the $97 package, which gets you access to watch this year's Close Olympics. I think if you buy the full package, it's $300, and it gets you the recordings to all of the Closers Olympics. So I would definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Maybe go to the Closers Olympics page. I'll see if I can find a link, and I'll put it in my YouTube where this is being recorded, or I'll try to have it by tomorrow when we come back, so that way you guys can get your tickets in advance. I don't know if they go up. I know beforehand the early purchase was $97, and then it went up from there. So I definitely recommend, if you guys are gonna get tickets to this, which you definitely should, that you guys do that super soon. Don't wait, because if the prices go up, why pay more for something you could have got for cheaper? That being said, well, Jen, I'm really excited.
Well, then Thursday, this Thursday, I think, is a free thing. You could, like, anybody can just watch the live stream, because it's the tryout still.
Yeah, this Thursday's free. What time is it on Thursday?
It's at 1 o'clock Pacific.
1 Pacific, so 2 p.m.
Yes.
Did you want to come here and practice on Thursday like normal, or do you want to skip it?
Please.
And just
No, I would
so
like
you're gonna be here and then go straight over. Okay.
Yes.
I love
And
it.
I was gonna get the link. I posted Daily Dial recap, but at the bottom of that is the YouTube and the Facebook link that Elijah gave for Thursday.
Let's we'll get a second, guys. Once Jen gets this, we will add this to the chat for you guys. So you can go and see the link for Thursday at the very least. If you guys come back tomorrow, I'll try to have all of the links for you guys so you guys can watch it. But guys, this is really, really exciting. We are doing this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 12 to 2 Mountain Time. Thursday is going to be a little different because that's when Jen does her tryout. So what we'll probably do is come here at 12 and then go straight over to watch the Closers Olympics directly when she goes for her tryouts. So it'll be a fun-filled day for you guys if you guys are looking to get better or just show support with Jen. I'll be honest, I started training sales. My first job training sales was in 2004. It's my first time doing it. I've been doing this for a little while. Doesn't matter. I learn every single day when I'm listening to these people, when I'm listening to Jen, I'm listening to Munif and all of these different people. The Closers Olympics is not going to be any different. There's going to be so many different people from different lifestyles, different backgrounds, different levels of experiences, different approaches to the business. This will be an amazing place for you guys to learn and just add tools to your belt to get better at having conversations. My opinion, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to get good at anything if you're not willing to put in the work that's required for you to level up and grow. And this is exactly designed to do that. This is why Jen and Munif are dedicating the time that they're dedicating. So nothing but love and respect to them. It's also why Pace bet copious amounts of money on the wholesale hotline last night for Jen's victory. That had to make you a little nervous. Maybe a little nervous.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I just threw the link. You guys, if you guys are in Zoom, you got both links. The Facebook link didn't post in Zoom. Let me see if I can paste the Facebook link. The YouTube link. So that YouTube link is for Thursday tryout, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the YouTube link in Zoom is for the Thursday tryout. Make sure you guys save that. I'm sure you guys can.
And the Facebook one. I guess you said it's going to be streamed there too.
Okay, so you can also follow them on Facebook. I will try to see if I can get a link for you guys if you guys come back tomorrow so you guys can have access to all the things. That being said, guys, really appreciate you guys joining. If you guys have any questions for anything, my Instagram's right there above my head. You guys are welcome to reach out. Happy to do anything I can. Please go show some love and support to the Closers Olympics Instagram and Facebook page, and show some love to them for putting all of this stuff together. And we will see you guys tomorrow at noon to do it all over again.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate